Cigar Company is your one-stop shop for all your cigar needs. Whether that's a brand new humidor, a box of those new cigars you've been waiting for, a top-of-the-line cutter or lighter, a place to enjoy the finest cigars and spirits with friends, or the only cigars grown right here in the Sunshine State, we've got you covered. Come visit one of our retail locations for the ultimate cigar experience. Visit us online at coronacigar.com.
How about that cigar?
Well, how about that cigar?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Corona Cigar Studios for episode 252 of How About That Cigar Live. Thank you so much for joining us live on all of the places.
All of them?
YouTube.
Yes.
Facebook.
Yes.
Instagram.
Yes.
Twitter.
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes.
That's right. We are live on all of those places right now. Thank you so much for joining us. If you would please join us in the comments. Let us know what you're smoking and drinking. And of course, click on all the big, beautiful buttons. The like button, the follow button, the subscribe button. It helps us out so much. And for our wonderful audio podcast listeners, guys, thank you so much for making How About That Cigar a part of your regular audio podcast rotation. Click on the big, beautiful subscribe button in your favorite audio podcast platform so you never miss an episode. And here in the beautiful Corona Cigar Studios.
It is beautiful today.
It is beautiful. We have guests in the studio. We have Tony.
Frickin' frack.
We have Tony. It's frickin' frack. We have Tony and we have Dax in studio. So the big door is open. So all the flies are coming in. It's starting to cool off. It was hot as balls earlier.
Yeah.
But it's starting to cool off a little bit now.
So these are our comments might go down since they're actually here.
Yeah. Since they're actually in the studio, our comment ratio is probably going to drop.
Yeah. And they're two of our most loyal.
That's right.
And then we got David Floyd, was number three. Right. These are they're like the Three Stooges.
Well, we have the president of the Minnesota Ashhole Society, and we have the social media manager for Cigars and Baseball.
Wow,
which
we're lucky tonight.
We will talk about in just a minute.
And we have somebody else here.
Thank you,
the third Musketeer.
That's right.
Justin,
say hello to the people, Justin.
What's going down?
You know, I feel like the show has barely begun, and I have already sent it flying off the rails. And I kind of
have rails in this show.
How far off the rails are we?
I don't think we fucking have rails.
I don't know if we can even see the rails anymore. What do you guys think?
Well, I love it. Likes to hold on to the rails at nighttime, but
that
rails.
I've already had. I think I've already had 6 drinks, and the show has barely even really started. So,
oh boy,
and I still have more to.
And that whatever that is,
more to whatever that is.
As long as you don't break it down for anybody again, I'm good.
So, can we make that a little larger? Because I
still have to pull up all the other stuff. So really briefly, when it comes to Minnesota sports, really we're in between a lot of things for most sports. The Minnesota Twins, fortunately, are really performing pretty well now. They just lost their first series against San Francisco, but we had won the previous 4 series.
Yeah, it's pretty good for the Twins.
So doing pretty well. We're in second place in our particular division, and we start a series now with the Brewers after Saturday. I think we start a series with the Brewers.
That's your hometown team, kind of.
No, not really.
No?
I mean, I grew up in Indiana. We didn't have a professional baseball team.
I figured you were a Green Bay fan.
No, I was never a Brewers guy. Never was.
I love the name.
Yeah. Oh, the Brewers. Well,
yeah.
It's because
I don't even drink.
It just screams fun.
It does.
Yeah.
That stadium looks like a hoot too.
I've never been.
Road trip.
There we go. Yes. Also, speaking of baseball, Justin, I threw it in the. There you go. Justin knows everything that's going on.
It's coming up fast.
Cigars and Baseball, September 12th, 2024. There is still plenty of time for you guys to register. Go to cigarsbaseball.com. You guys can register for an individual. You can register for, are there still VIPs available? Yep. So Dax says there's still VIPs available. And you can also get your cigar grouping of friends together and get a whole table, guys, because it's just so much more fun when you've got some of your own friends there, that are part of the cigar community. But it's such a fantastic time where you've got some of the coolest cigar companies around represented at Cigars and Baseball. And you've got some fantastic local eateries that are going to have some of their food available to sample. You've got local distilleries. You've got local breweries. And it's all at the gorgeous CHS Field in St. Paul, Minnesota, right on the concourse there. Beautiful, basically just wraps around the whole ballpark. You'll be able to see live baseball happening on the field while you're enjoying a fine premium cigar, enjoying company with friends, and enjoying great drinks and food and things like that. And it all goes to this is the best part. It all goes to benefit the Miracle League, which puts together baseball facilities for kids with disabilities.
And if you haven't seen what that looks like, go to their website and check it out. It tugs on your heart. It's awesome.
Yeah. And David Floyd, to answer your question, is this Angel Cuesta going to be any good? The answer is yes. That is a really nice
cigar. Dare you
cigar
ask us that?
From JC Newman.
We give you a cigar, you just shut up and smoke it.
Oh, man.
Okay?
Raul's being mean or something approaching mean. I'm not really
No,
sure.
that's not mean. That's just letting him know.
I still
you
haven't
see what
even
he said up there? Who cares about Minnesota sports?
Who cares? Well, everybody cares about Minnesota
exactly,
sports.
Because we're here. But my Yankees, the only thing they've been doing is beating up on the Orioles lately.
Yeah, the Yankees. Well,
they actually had a fisticuff.
Yeah, there was a little dust up, you know. But it's the Yankees. They're going to do that. They're going to get into little dust ups here and there. I don't really mind it, you know. Whether I mean hockey, you expect there's going to be fights. But baseball, you know, it's not uncommon.
No.
Football, it's less common.
Basketball, they do this.
Well, they're not allowed to really fight in basketball anymore. I mean, the way the Pistons and the Bulls used to play back in the early 90s.
Beautiful, wasn't
You're
it?
not allowed to play that way anymore. You just gotta.
Everybody needs a Rodman in their life.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Bill
Laimbeer, Dennis Rodman. That's the days when teams could actually play and really, you know,
then breathe on them and call a foul.
Yeah. Now it's kind of that way where it's like, oh, he made me feel bad, so they call a foul. I'm getting way ahead of myself.
So let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and
you're off the rails. You haven't even had anything to drink. I think we absolutely.
They let me out of the cage for a little while.
We absolutely positively have to get our special guest on the show. Because
I think first we got to put Raul back in the fire department.
Who is it? Who is it? I don't even know who our guest is, and I don't know. Just some guy.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Actually, we got to talk about Spirit of Mystery first.
Yeah.
That's right.
He's smiling, so it must be. I think that's the guy, or is that some guy we just picked up off the street?
Kyle.
We saw him on a motorcycle this weekend,
and he's
so
on the other. We can sort of see him still on the other side of the camera, and he's like, "What in the hell did I get myself into?" Yeah. So that actually makes me kind of excited.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, let's talk about this evening's Spirit of Mystery, brought to us by our friends at Postania Cigar Company. Do you find yourself unsatisfied with the top 10 list from How About That Cigar? Are you wondering how cigars from Postania didn't make the HBTC list, but found their way onto other lists? Fortunately, you can be reminded every week with this Postania Cigars advertisement. Postania Cigars, the #1 unranked cigar in the industry. All right, so this evening's Spirit of Mystery, very similar to last week, where the spirit is very dark. It's got a very deep dark color. It has some legs to it, although not, I don't think maybe necessarily as viscous as the one was last week. I did note before we went live that the aroma is odd. It's not bad, but it's strange.
Does it smell like greatness?
It seems like.
You better sip it. Go ahead.
I got to take a sip here.
I dare you. Oh my goodness, that is phenomenal, isn't it?
Wow.
Yeah. See, I don't even drink, and I know these things.
That is very high proof. I'll say right off the bat, that is very, very high proof. I'll say this, the flavor is way better than the aroma. Not that the aroma, David Floyd, just put it in your mouth. Thank you, David. The aroma is not bad, but it's very unusual.
Yeah.
The flavor is very good, though. But this is an extremely high proof whiskey, I think.
I think so, too.
But I do enjoy it. I am going to take some more sips as we go through. Talking to our wonderful special guest.
What glass are you drinking it out of?
Well, of course, I'm drinking this from the beautiful. How about that cigar, Glencairn? You know, gotta love that.
Cool.
Look at that. See. So yeah, take some more sips and see if I can decipher what this might be.
Should we get this dude on the show here?
Absolutely. It is time to get our special guest on the show. And as always on How About That Cigar? As always on How About That Cigar Live. Special guest brought to us by our friends at Drew Estate. Following the resounding success of Blackened Cigars M81 Maduro, Drew Estate announced the new Blackened S84 Shade 2 Black. Wrapped in a luxurious Connecticut Ecuador cover leaf, the experience of this expression is distinctly different from the original M81 Maduro, while still retaining its foundational qualities due to the Connecticut broadleaf Maduro binder, and finally filler leaves from Pennsylvania and Nicaragua. Presented in elegantly designed 20-count boxes, Blackened S84 Shade to Black by Drew Estate is available in Robusto, Toro, Corona Doble, and Corona. For more information, please visit DrewEstate.com.
So, shall we?
Ladies and gentlemen.
He's waiting there with a smile.
He's got he's still got that look on it. I just can't wait. Shit. He's got that look on his face like, what on earth did I get myself into? Yes.
This is going to be
he's scared.
A good idea or a great idea. That's what I read.
He's scared, and I'm kind of here for it. So, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Welcome to episode 252 of How About That Cigar Live from Cigarketing. Kyle Willis, welcome to the show, brother. It's so great to have you here.
Thank you. Honored to be here, I think.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, Kyle, how scared are you right now?
Borderline 11.
Borderline 11. I like it. Yeah.
So, we start out all the time asking our guests, what's the first cigar that you smoked that you can remember that got you into smoking cigars? And then I'll follow up that question with what got you into your business.
Yeah. I specifically remember the first cigar. It was a Macanudo Hyde Park. I was working for a social media startup company. Never smoked cigars. Cigars at that time were a taboo for me. I grew up in a small Christian community, and cigars, alcohol, all that stuff was, the thing you don't do. And coming out of, coming out of that, God and me are still a great place. But coming out of, mom and dad telling me what I can and can't do, being able to make decisions for myself. I was working for this social media startup company. We just launched the big software platform that we were trying to compete with MySpace at the time. This was back at the beginning of 2007. The boss said, go grab cigars, and no one at the company knew what we were doing. And so we went into the shop, said, give us the best cigar you have. And that guy sold us a box of Macanudo Hyde Park. And damn, we thought it was awesome. And I've never smoked one since.
Well, but here's the cool thing is at the time, it was awesome just because, the experience, the sort of that I would assume, as this business startup, as you're hopeful for what's going to come, it's even if the cigar is maybe, let's say it's not this ultra top tier of ultra premium cigars, it's still something about that experience where you're like, okay, the great unknown is before us and we're ready to, get this new train rolling down the tracks and just excited for what might come from it. And the cigar could be, within reason, it could be just about anything, but you still be excited for what's coming next.
Sometimes cigars are just an accessory to the event.
Yeah, it's part of the experience. Yeah.
We smoked it in the parking lot, and it felt so special in that moment.
Absolutely.
So definitely the gateway for me to begin something that was such an experience. I think as you're saying that so much of what cigars are, when you connect them with the right people and the right times, you can have a backwoods and it's still going to be special.
That's right.
Hey, don't knock on those backwards. Forget your cigars. They help out.
I just had this fishing trip over the weekend with guys that I've been fishing with for a very, very long time. And it's whether people want to knock it, people want to make fun of me for it. I've said for years, I don't care. These are the guys that it's tradition because we did it from the very first trip so many years ago. That
and he's old.
We bring backwoods and black and milds on the trip, and it's just part of the experience for us. And I don't care who has what to say about it. I like Blackwoods. It's part of the experience for us, and we absolutely love it. And we're just literally sitting out on boats on lakes in the middle of absolute nowhere in up by the Canadian border in northern Minnesota. There's no cell service. It's just us and cheap beer like Hams or something like that, and Black and Milds and Backwoods, and we just don't care because we have a great time doing it. It's part of the experience.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Hey, Brody, shut up.
So Kyle, what do you, if you're smoking something right now, what are you smoking on the show with us?
Yeah, right now I'm smoking a cigar called the Perfect Pairs. If you can see that, all right. This is a cigar that I made.
Nice.
That I can give you a little background now or later in the show, but something that
Go ahead, you started.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, come on.
Yeah, this is actually round 2 of the Perfect Pairs. I first released this in 2021. We can talk more about the group later on, but I have a Facebook group that I sell cigars through. And back in 2021, actually started in 2020 during COVID, I reached out to Noel Rojas. And I said, Noel, I really want to make a cigar that's exclusive to this Facebook group I run, that I want something that I call the perfect pair, because I want something that can pair well with coffee in the morning, that's kind of mild and light for those who like those mild cigars, but still strong enough that can pair with whiskey in the evening. I know that may sound crazy. I might be asking too much to have something that can blend with both, but I want something that can be that perfect pair. Is this even possible? And during COVID, as you know, I couldn't travel down to Nicaragua and work with him. And he was awesome and kind enough to work with me, sending me stuff through the mail to try to find that perfect blend. We came upon something that was awesome. In 2021, we released it to the group, made 1,000 cigars that sold out in 2 hours. And I said, man, Noel, this was awesome. The group loved it. Is there any way I can get more? And as you may know, Noel has really risen up in his production, built a new factory in Nicaragua, and was very kind in telling me, sorry, man, I don't have time for you. And so for 3 years, I begged him to make it again. And just about a month ago, we finally were able to do a new batch of these. So this is round 2 of the perfect pair. The joy of it, though, was the same tobacco he had back in 2021.
Nice.
So, couple questions. What's the blend? Do you know what the blend is?
I do. Well, it's a Nicaraguan Puro. It's a Sumatra wrapper, a 6x52 Toro, and then all Nicaraguan filler and binder.
Don't be nervous. It's okay. You've done enough of these. I know you're smooth. And by the way, what's the name of this little group you have out there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, as long as Facebook's not listening too closely. The group is called Phoenix Rises.
And I'm a member.
I
think everybody here was a member at one point.
I don't think I am. I don't know if I ever have been.
Oh.
Come on, Matt. We gotta change that.
I've never. You got to teach me the secret handshake.
All right, I will.
Yeah.
It goes like this. Give me a finger here.
I'm not touching you, bro.
I said this shake to Dax. This is me and Dax's new fucking shake. Yeah, that's right. He knows it.
Oh,
see?
man.
Like I said before, the rails are like not even invisible. We're so far off the rails.
Yeah, we're done.
So what are you smoking, Raul?
What am I smoking?
What are you smoking? You know you're smoking.
A la pâtisserie.
One of your favorites.
Yes, the newer version. Come on, you.
There she is.
There we go.
The newer version. Everybody knows I prefer the original one, but this will do in a pinch.
What about Justin? What do you?
I fired up actually a cigar that I won on his Facebook group, Kyle's group, and it's the Tatuaje Skinny Chuck. You can barely see that in there, but the Skinny Monster Chuck.
Very nice.
I think it's pretty old, right, Kyle? Probably.
I think you said you had that one a few years ago for me, with probably one of the original releases.
Yeah. It was in a special pack, so I got like 2021, I think, from you.
Well, I'm finishing up. I'm finishing up a wasabi from our good friend Tony, who's right here in the studio, which I had never had a chance to try. I mean, I had a chance to try before, but never actually tried because I never bought any. But I love the cigar. So, Tony, thank you for that.
So before you do that, what
sir.
are you guys smoking out there?
Yeah, Dax, what are you smoking? Dax is smoking it. Oh, yeah, the Romacraft HN. Neanderthal.
What about you, Tony?
Hot cake
broadly.
The
new release.
HVC.
I heard it's fire.
Yeah, is that legit? Very nice. Yeah, Rainier's doing good stuff. So for my main show cigar, I am going to fire up the La Flor Dominicana Cameroon Cabinet Lancero, which has always been one of my favorites. Picked this up from Omar at Ramsey Smoke Shop, and I'm going to fire this up right now on the Cigar Toast Cam. Cigar is the leading cigar accessory brand with innovative butane lighters, precision cigar cutting instruments, travel cases, and humidors. Each product is designed and manufactured with the utmost precision and attention to detail. The result is a range of products that exude quality and refinement, reflecting the brand's dedication to excellence. For more information, please visit Cigar.com. See, with these Lanceros and a massive lighter like this, you've got to be really careful to not just absolutely.
That looked like a torch from letting loose on a rocket.
Yeah, this is basically this is one of the Paleo, which is one of the sister companies of Quality Importers, part of the Cigar family, and that lighter will basically that lighter could probably send SpaceX like up into the stratosphere.
Yes.
Wow.
So let's get back to our guest because he's sitting there so nice and patiently. So get back to your business. Your how you say it? Cigar marketio.
I want Kyle to talk us through the evolution of the name. Because it's it's one of those basically it's the marriage of two words.
Exactly.
So talk us through how you guys came up with that.
Yeah, that's exactly right on, Matt. It's the marriage of two names because it was a marriage of two businesses and two passions coming together. To give you a little quick background, I got my start in creating my first marketing agency 13 years ago, and a marketing agency called No to the Quo. Started that in January of 2011. We focus predominantly exclusively on e-commerce brands, and I've been doing that for quite a while. I have it in a great place now where I have the team that runs everything for me. And that's really been a passion and for quite some time. But as that grew and I was able to start taking myself out of the day-to-day, cigars really became the passion that I started putting more of my energy into. And for the last 7 years, the cigar industry really became the next focus of mine. And so that was that then 2017 is when I started jumping in to selling cigars. And from about 2017 to 2021, I would say it was a business, but not really a strong, heavy emphasis of selling cigars. And in selling the cigars, what I started noticing is that there was a real need in the industry of people who understood how to market cigars and how to sell cigars at the same time. I mean, if you think of doctors, lawyers, dentists, and all the rest of those type of industries, they all have marketing agencies that specialize in that type of industry. But when it came to the cigar industry, none of them existed. And if you were a cigar shop, a retailer, or an e-commerce brand, and you wanted to work with a marketing company, none of them actually knew the difference of a Toro or a Robusto. They didn't know what cigars at the time were popular, how to build a website that was actually going to sell cigars. I can go on and explaining it. And what I started noticing and digging into it was the cigar industry was a $30 billion industry growing 30% year upon year. But when it came to cigar shops understanding how to tap into that were the more smaller cigar shops, they didn't have a marketing team that they could rely on. And so that's where the marriage of my love and passion for cigars, my love and passion for marketing, how could they come together? So cigar marketing became Cigarketing. So in 2021 is when we launched Cigarketing as a marketing agency exclusive to the tobacco industry and have now become the leader in cigar marketing. I mean, you Google cigar marketing, you're going to find us.
So is your focus then really more for giving guidance and advice and strategies to brick and mortar cigar shops more than cigar brands, or is it both?
Great question. We actually do both. And so we work with both manufacturers and retailers. Now with the manufacturer side, it's a little different where, we're not a sales force. We're not trying to help you find, where to sell your cigars, but we are able to help now create the marketing elements for you to build the brand awareness for you. So we do web design, we do all the marketing collateral, and I can go on without trying to sound all salesy here, but we work with a lot of manufacturers to build that awareness and the marketing channels for their sales team. Whereas then when it comes to then how do we really build the awareness for retail brands, we work with both the e-commerce and the brick and mortars to then really create the engines, if you want to call it that, the marketing plans to really build that awareness and drive sales to then increase revenue for those companies. And I quick call out, so one of your sponsors, Forte Loesa, they're one of our clients. We built their website. We've been working with Greg since the beginning of his company. Greg's an amazing guy.
Yeah, Greg, and this sort of segues into a question that Greg ran into one of those situations that's not uncommon, whether you're talking about cigars or spirits or beers or other product categories, where you end up with some kind of a trademark legal thing that happens. So I would assume that a company like yours can help a company navigate those, they can help a cigar company or a brick and mortar shop sort of navigate those legal trademark situations. But also potentially, if you get in early enough with that company from the very beginning of their branding concepts and naming concepts and things like that, you can even potentially help a company avoid those kind of pitfalls. Is that the case? And how do you navigate that with a company that's going through something like that?
Yeah. Now, I want to first call out, Greg was amazing in doing all of that on his own. So I can't take any credit in the transition he's had to go through in kind of more of his own rebrand. And I want to be very clear that we don't touch anything from the legal side. I try to be completely off that, because the legality can also really change on a state to state basis as well. And we have some people that reach out to us and they say, hey, can you help us consult on, the tax elements? And we're like, you know what? It's so different from one state to another. You really need to, and there are some businesses who specialize in tobacco tax and tobacco law. So without trying to take anything away from them, I would say from the legal side, we're not the ones for that, but from the branding side, and when it comes to whoever comes in first, if we are able to demonstrate that we are first to market, that we're able to really be able to establish that brand first through the website, through the marketing, through the social media, we're able to really create a strong message to be able to prove trademarks before anyone can try to challenge anything down the road. So I can't speak from a legal aspect, but I can definitely encourage and consult on what I know has worked in the past.
Yeah. I don't know whose phone's ringing.
That's mine.
Oh, is that your phone?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell them to call him back.
If they ain't watching the show, they don't need to talk to him.
So one of the things that I'm always curious about, especially from this side of things that you work in, Kyle, when it comes to marketing, brand recognition, customer focus, that kind of thing, is every product category. You've got premium cigars, you've got spirits, you've got beers. We could be talking about cars or fashion or watches, or who knows what the product category might be. What would you say, as you've been going through this over the years, and you obviously had experience in other product categories before premium cigars, what have you learned is like the biggest differentiator that is a difference in need that premium cigar companies or brick and mortar cigar shops have versus other product categories?
I think the biggest thing that I can speak to is being able to understand customer need. If you can understand and define who your customer is, and be the more specific you can create a niche around that customer, the more authentic and the more effective you can be. Where I see cigar shops fail, where I see brands fail, is when they try to just compete on price, or they try to just have the same cigars that everyone else has, and they just say, oh, you know what, we're going to throw a website up and we're going to carry everything that Cigar International has. There's not enough differentiation just to have cigars on a website, especially from an e-commerce standpoint. You can't be effective in that kind of way. An effective brand, an effective shop has to be able to have a community around it, and a niche is going to be able to have a message that people want to buy into and be able to be a part of something that's bigger than themselves.
In other words, you're saying they have to have their own personality before they start throwing shit out there, right?
Absolutely.
Have a community and their own personality. You just can't go off of Cigar Aficionado and kick all the other good cigars out and bring all that shit in there, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that. That's a good point that we've seen, I think, especially in the last, gosh, I don't know what the time frame has been, but 15 years, definitely, maybe 20, that the product categories that don't necessarily always go together with cigars, but there's certain things that if somebody enjoys premium cigars, it's likely that they're also going to enjoy certain other things. Now that might be really premium coffees or premium spirits or premium, craft beers, that kind of thing.
Craft sodas. Don't forget about
craft sodas. Yeah, exactly. So any sort of, small market, small productions, small batch products that, companies, what we've noticed in especially since we focus so much on the premium cigar space, and I know you do as well, Kyle, there's something like a brand, there's almost like a brand loyalty, like people become attached almost emotionally to a brand where they develop this deep loyalty, like and some of the smaller that have now become medium-sized brands over the last few years that come to mind, like Black Label Trading Company, Roma Craft, and even Fortaleza Libre, and where they just Apostate and Stolen Throne, and these are some of the where they just the customers who start to enjoy their products, they also start to identify with sort of the face of the company. With Fortaleza, you've got Greg Free. With Stolen Throne, you've got Lee Marsh. With Roma Craft, you've got Skip Martin and Mike Rosales, and so on and so forth. James Brown with Black Label Trading Company, and they develop this fierce loyalty to these brands. Is there when you see this loyalty that comes with these brands, where does, just from a sort of because I know a lot of marketing also plays into or learns from things like psychology and sociology, how does a brand develop that kind of loyalty, and not only develop it but sort of maintain it?
I think first and foremost, let's state the obvious. You have to have great cigars. Regardless of whatever kind of culture you have, whatever type of scarcity we have, other things I may mention in a minute, you must be able to have incredible quality in the cigars you're making. And I think we've seen some of these brands before, and I won't mention names, but they've tried to create some of this scarcity in their cigars, or create this, the higher end lines that the quality of cigars doesn't line up to what they're trying to promote, and they fizzle out. Whereas when you have someone like a Tatuaje who's been around forever, they began with incredible quality and then built an incredible culture. You mentioned Stolen Throne. I love what Lee Marsh has created in the beginning when he was told, I used to do a podcast myself, and I had Lee on my podcast at the time, and I asked Lee, his origin story. And when it was telling me he was at a table with a bunch of manufacturers, and they they told him there's no room at the table, and he's like, fine, I'll grab it. I'll steal my own seat. And he made that place for himself. And I think, that aspect of being able to recognize that the quality must come first, that you can't make any substitute for that. Secondly, from that is that you can't sacrifice in the quality. And then I think there is something to be said about scarcity, but not just a false scarcity. I'm never a fan of FOMO. I think we've all been burned by that before, and we can sniff that out pretty quickly. But I think we love the aspect of that there's something limited, and that we want to be part of something that is not going to stick around for a long time. And so, if we look beyond cigars, there's a bourbon company or a spirit company I'm a big fan of right now called Rare Character. Everything they do is single barrel, and it's that aspect of I got to grab this bottle before they're gone because there's only 100 bottles before. But I think we've seen some of this before, and I'll mention names because I think they do some of this well and some of this not. But when false scarcity gets to play too far out, is something kind of like Ezra Zion, where it's too much because there's released every other week, and it's like, okay, is this real or is this not? Because this doesn't feel genuine anymore. And so I think there needs to be an authenticity to your scarcity as well. And so I know we're talking manufacturers right now, but I think the other element is in creating culture. So we're talking quality, scarcity, and culture around your brand. I'd start with those three elements before we go to anything more. And the culture is really getting people to buy in to who you are as a company. I'm wearing a shirt right now from Warp that says "Smoke Better Cigars," and I know people love Warp, some people hate Warp, but I think, Kyle Willis has made a mission to create a different type of cigar. And I love the message. I want to smoke better cigars. And I think that aspect of he's created a culture around his brand. And so in that aspect as well, and people want to be a part of that culture. So then when something new gets released, Black Label Trading Company, they have an incredible culture with their Black Sheep. Everyone wants to be a part of what's coming out, and they seek out not just the cigars, but the events that go around their cigars as well.
Yeah. Well, Brody really wants to know if you're married. Brody's super interested.
Nope, I am single like a Pringle.
Okay, all right, guys.
Single and likes to mingle.
Start.
Come on, Brody. You got someone for me? Start
working your game. If you're out there and you're
send her to Seattle, Brody.
So I'm going to change this up a little bit. So if a person was to start a website or a Facebook page, and they wanted to get all these rare cigars and then have like some kind of a raffle going for these certain cigars, allegedly, how would somebody acquire so many limited and good fucking cigars to put on probably 10, 12 auctions a day, every day, probably 148 weeks a year? How does one do that?
That seems like a very unique idea, Raul.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if it existed, I would be pouring money into it, which I fucking have. And how does one guarantee a win?
So that's a very good hypothetical. So Kyle, hypothetically, if something like that existed, how would somebody go about acquiring said cigars? And just roll with that. Just do with that question what you will.
That whole thing, how you acquire these wonderful someone would acquire these wonderful cigars and bourbon sometimes, and all these wonderful things.
Yeah.
So if I'm understanding the question, are you asking how can a consumer acquire the cigars, or are you asking how do I acquire the cigars to sell?
Let's go with the second part.
I didn't know you sold cigars. I just thought you were in the marketing and then had your little cigar on the side.
My cigar sales is what led to the cigar marketing. I need to know how to sell cigars.
I'm trying not to fucking get you in trouble. That's why I kind of did it that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We don't want to get you. We don't want to get you, jammed up with any social media companies.
He's got backup plans. He's a smart fella.
This is the joy of running a marketing agency, as I know how to take it all off Facebook when I need to.
Yeah.
So how does one?
I'll give you the quick background story. Would it help to explain like where Facebook and my cigar sales came from?
Sure. Yeah. Let's do it. Matt's leaving.
So we were talking earlier about, my main marketing agency. This was back in 2016 when I knew nothing about cigars. I was running a contest to build my email list for my main marketing agency, No to the Quo, and I had a box of cigars as I was going to give away in this contest. That was like one of the, not even a box, it was a humidor filled with like Cigar International specials junk. And at that time, I thought it was a good deal. I'm like, cool, I'm going to give away $200 worth of cigars. Probably Gurkha made up about $100 of that. And so I thought, well, cool, I'll jump in some Facebook groups to promote this giveaway I'm doing to try to build my email list. And as I jumped in these Facebook groups, discovered, oh my God, there is such demand for cigars that I didn't even know existed. And this was back when like Cigar Cartel was a really big Facebook group at the time. You know, it had like 20,000 some members, and there was a couple groups at that time. You know, today we're scattered like the church where there's 20 different denominations, and there's, you know, at that time there was like 2 or 3 groups that sold cigars. And so, you know, then it was pretty easy to find out where to buy cigars. And so I started to notice that, like, oh, people are buying a box of Liga Privada for $200 in these groups, but if I could find it online for $150, if I could buy 5 of those boxes, I could make $250. And I've always liked little deals like that. So I was kind of, you know, a small consumer just thinking, hey, if I can make an extra $500 here and there, I'll do it a little bit. And it started small like that. And I was in the negative for the first 2 years. And my attitude was, I just want to build a relationship and I want to build trust. And I started seeing that there was scammers out there. I started seeing that there was just bad deals, people just after the max profits. But I thought, man, if I just stay in it, my goal at the end of the day was to buy a box of cigars, sell 2/3 of it, and be able to smoke the 1/3 I got for free. And after doing this enough time, it was able to have enough relationship and trust with the community that we've built that allowed us to have where we are today, that we can run 10 games in a day or more. And so, you know, having done it now for 6+ years, I'd say really the last 4 years when it became a real business, where I became licensed and, you know, pay my taxes. I think I'm probably the only person on Facebook that actually pays taxes off what they sell and files a tax return off his stuff. But wanted to make it a real business, and wanted to make it a real deal. And I tell people who ask me like, hey, can I do what you do? I'm like, yeah, anyone can do it. The question is, are you willing to put in the work? Because it does take a lot of time. And you know, I'm on my phone a lot. And now that I'm trying to date again, it's part of me telling, you know, going on a date and being like, look, I'm going to have to give up putting a game up right now if I want to go on this date. Or when I was dating, telling the girlfriend at the time, hey, do you mind that I update this lotto so that I can pay for tonight's date? And so there's definitely some trade-offs, but you know, when it comes to where the cigars come from, there's, you know, I have relationships with manufacturers, so I definitely go direct to buy from a handful of manufacturers. But then there's other shops that I have relationships with as well, that anyone can do the same thing I'm doing. Now I tell these shops straight up, I'm buying to resell, I'm flipping, but I want to make sure you're aware of that, and you know, they know that, because you know, I was going to tell a story. I'll pause that story in a moment. But I want to be upfront with them because I care about relationship. You know, I want them to know if they see it as they can make a quick buck. If they sell a box of cigars to me for $200 that they got for $150, they made $50 without having to do anything. Now they're usually selling me something for probably $2,000 that they got for $1,000. Or I picked up something today that was a $20,000 humidor that they paid like $10,000 for, and so they made a lot of money off me without having to do any work. And so in that, there's definitely a relationship that is a win-win for both of us. But that aspect of you have to stay in the game, and it takes that time to build that trust, and you build that relationship with both the retailers I'm working with and then the community. for me, it's not just about making the money through the cigar sales. It's the people that I love. I can tell story after story about the people that are in the group that I love, who I work with. I mean, I wouldn't be on this podcast tonight if it wasn't for being able to meet you guys and being able to build a relationship, because it's about that aspect of being able to say, all right, I want to get the rare cigars in your hands. I want you to be able to find the stuff that you may not see every day, but this is where it's really fun for me to be able to make sure it's fun and unique, but you know you're not getting ripped off and that you're finding the fun stuff at a best deal that I can try to bring it to you.
So I'm going to tell a story of how me and Kyle actually became friends. I was on the alleged site for a while, and I had put a bid in, and he didn't respond good enough, so I kind of razzle-dazzled him. You know, I can be an asshole sometimes.
What?
I know.
Let me poll the room. That's not true, right? No.
I am a loving asshole. I can admit it. So he came back. He texted me. He's like, "Hey, man, I have a real life. I have a real business going on." And I'm like, "Oh shit, he is a real person. He's just not slinging cigars, and this is all he does." So I apologize. And ever since then, we've had an open relationship. Oh, not open relationship, but hey, open friendship, and it's grown since then. It was pretty cool. Fuck you guys.
It must be a little testy to tell you that.
I don't have an open relationship. You want to get me shot by my wife? No.
Brody's gonna get jealous here.
I know Brody is getting jealous. He is a jealous type. Watch out.
I like.
Do you remember that, Kyle?
You know, I honestly don't. I was probably, I don't even know how long ago that must have been. But yeah, there's definitely some times where people can get feisty, where I've had to be like, calm down and relax. I got a great therapist now who's helped me learn to kind of calm a lot of my emotions. Going through a nasty divorce and coming out of that, I've learned to just realize what is life and how many. Can I swear on the podcast?
Yes, of course.
You
haven't heard me yet?
How many fucks I have left to give and what I care to get them over.
Exactly. Yeah, I have two really
Two
good
fucks left.
I have two really good therapists.
Cigars and
their names are Bourbon and Beer. And no, I'm joking, but it's
valid.
So one of the things, and this is the thing, because I want to ask certain questions, but I don't want you to like give away your trade secrets, Kyle, because it's like you still want people to retain the services of your firm. So it's not like you want to give away trade secrets, but so without like, giving away the store, because I'm really curious, because my mom had a background in marketing and, that spent most of her professional career kind of doing work like that. And I've always been curious because there's different, like we've talked about a little bit already, there's obviously different markets, there's different product categories, there's different consumer bases, so on and all the different things that go into it. But I know that there are always certain like items that people like you and people who do what you do, that those are places where just about every company is missing the mark, that are easy and inexpensive ways to get more following, get more consumer engagement, things like that. What would you say is one of those areas where it would just be so easy for almost any company, regardless of what they make or sell, that would just be easy for them to gain 5% more consumer engagement almost overnight with very little effort? Yeah,
well, if I may speak to it from a retail perspective, I think that can give the easiest value to them, because I've already made something for them that I think may benefit without them needing to hire me whatsoever. And I can send this to you guys if you want to put it in the show notes. That they can download and watch without having to pay us anything, give me their email or anything like that. Most retail companies have a brick and mortar location that's going to have what's called a Google My Business listing. A lot of these cigar shops have never really put in the time to build out that Google My Business listing. What I'm talking about is when you type in best cigar shops near me, best cigar shops in Minnesota, and what pops up is what's called the Maps pack. And at the very top is a Maps listing that shows a map and then usually 3 locations. 80% of all clicks happen within the maps. And as you may be familiar, when it comes to tobacco, you can't advertise. So there's no way to get in front of that maps pack. And then everything below that maps pack is what is the organic listings, which is about 10 listings that Google gives you. So if you want to get the majority of those clicks, which is going to go to your website, or the phone calls, which is ideally people calling to come to your shop, you have to optimize your Google My Business listing. That is a Google property, not your website. And that is very simple to do. Now, what a lot of people think they do is, oh, I built it up. Cool, I built it, and they forget it. And what tends to happen, though, is once that gets built up and forgotten, then it just sits there idle. Now, what can really boost up not only getting you in the top 3 listing, again, where 80% of the clicks are happening, is being able to just use it like its own social network. You may remember back in the day when Google had their Google Plus network. Google used to have its own social network called Google Plus. Well, they killed that off back in whatever it was, 2016, 2015. And they killed off the social network element, but they allowed the social posting side to be part of Google My Business. And so now businesses can post updates within Google My Business right on their listing. All of those updates are indexable, meaning searchable by search engines. So when someone's looking for cigar events, new cigar releases, or anything related to cigars, all of those type of posts can be found by Google. And so you should be using your Google My Business listing just as much, if not more, than you're using Instagram, Facebook, X, anything else like that. Yeah. And so, we made a training a while ago on how to build out, first of all, because a lot of shops that we work with never even created their Google My Business listing, but how to build out their Google My Business listing. And then, of course, you want to get reviews for that. There's a really simple way that you can grab your own URL and just send that out to your customers. You can put this URL at the bottom of your receipt. You can text it out to people. So when they come in your shop and they purchase from you, you can ask them to leave reviews on there. And so the posts that you leave on there and getting reviews are 2 of the most important ways of getting you to the top of that Google My Business listing. If businesses just put a little bit of time into building out that My Business listing and stay consistent with that, they get a lot more foot traffic and a lot more phone calls, which then, of course, results in people coming into your shop and spending more money.
Yeah. And it's amazing because there are some business owners, and again, kind of regardless of product class or product category. When I was on this fishing trip over the weekend, a friend of mine is in the carpet cleaning business, and they do residential and commercial. But his boss, he contacted me about, some questions about things like SEO and stuff like that. And his boss is extremely reluctant, because his boss is old school. And he's very reluctant to do things, like search result listings, because currently he said when you search for, carpet cleaners in my area, their company doesn't even show up. And I said, well, that's a travesty. You guys should be in the top 3 search results in that area. And it's really easy to, get that done. But his boss is old school. He's reluctant. He says, no, I don't want to spend that money. But you've helped people gain results, and you've seen results time and time again where people, basically with a little investment to get search results improved and things like that, that return on investment comes almost immediately.
Absolutely. I mean, again, I'm not here to sell our services, so I work off relationship. One of the ways we try to set ourselves differently than a lot of well, there's not a lot of other marketing agencies for the cigar industry out there, but what's different from us from a lot of other marketing agencies out there is that we're on a month-to-month basis, meaning that there's no long-term contracts. Everything's based off results. So when clients come to us and they say, all right, I'm interested in working with you, what's it going to be like? We have to prove it if we want to keep working with them. And they have to be able to see that people are coming into their shop, buying more cigars, attending their events. And we have clients that not only are staying with us for long haul, but there's that aspect of where times where it's like, all right, there's some seasonality, of course, to some of the cigar businesses, but then it's that aspect of like, all right, we it's going really well, we're going to slow down right now, all right, we're ready to come back. And I was just talking to a cigar shop today where it's like, all right, I need help. We're building out an e-commerce website that we don't really know what we're doing. How do we get our footprint out there? If we're going to invest this money to create a website, why spend the money if no one can find you? You don't want to be talking to yourself. And so in that, we want to make sure that when we work with the clients and put together a strategy, that we really make sure that they can see that the cigars are going to be increasing in sales, flying off the shelves. Otherwise, we're going to pack our own bags. And then the metrics don't lie. We're able to show the clients there's, the basic things of the amount of traffic coming to their website, the phone calls coming to their site. There's a variety of what we call the KPIs that show it's making a difference. And then, of course, we want to hear from them that the sales are there too.
Yeah.
So, Kyle, do you go to shops and see their humidor, or do you mainly do it by phone or by video chat? How much traveling do you do?
I do next to none. Most all of our relationships all through Zoom, phone calls, and email. And so we have some clients that I'll travel to when the opportunity, like we have a client that's in the Cayman Islands, and so I'm like, hey, cool, I'll go travel to that one.
All right, okay, I'll travel there. Yeah,
that's my arm. But like one of our clients is in Washington D.C. Coincidentally, one of my team members lives like within 2 blocks. So it's nice to send her down the street to take photos of their humidor, of their lounge, and be a part of events that's going on there. But for the most part, we're able to do everything that we need remotely. And when we need, product photos, we give them direction of what we're looking for. And there's not much requirement of them other than, all right, grab a few photos for us, be able to tell us, new products that are on coming to you. And then as we're working with manufacturers, all right, as you get the new bands, the new products, the new boxes, give us your own imagery, and then we'll create everything else for you.
Has your Facebook website helped your other business, your marketing business?
Sorry, say that one more time.
Has your Facebook page,
this alleged Facebook group, where alleged transactions or swapping of cigars allegedly takes place?
Absolutely.
Marketing.
Yeah, so Raul and Justin can testify to this. I put a little postcard in the cigars I sell. I do it intentionally to protect the cigars, a little backing in a bag I sell the cigars through. But this little postcard is my simple little advertisement that simply says, if I've earned your trust, it says something to the fact of, you may know me from slinging cigars, but what you may not know is, what my real passion is marketing. And I'd love to earn your trust in helping market your business. And I have one of these postcards for the cigar marketing business, and one of these postcards for my main parent company, No to the Quo, the main agency. This little postcard cost me like 2 cents to make, and I've made over $300,000 just putting that postcard in and getting referrals from it. So yeah, the Facebook group has absolutely brought business to me.
I can't wait to see that card again. It's been a fucking long time. For fuck's sake.
Well said, man. Well said.
You just got to keep playing the game.
Raul, when I send you some perfect pairs, I'll make sure there's some postcards in there for you.
There you go.
Thanks, brother.
There you
Appreciate that.
So I think it might be. I'm going to ask you, Raul and Justin. Is it
time, Justin?
I mean, it's getting pretty late. So
I think it's time, guys.
I'm getting pretty fucking hot.
All
it seems
right,
like
guys.
it's getting hotter right now. You're glistening on your face and everything. Or is that just a buzz?
Wow. Did you just say that?
glistening on your face? Yeah.
No,
His
that's
cheeks are a little rosy, though. I do see that.
all right.
Yeah,
All right.
got a little rosy cheek.
Before we get too far off the rails again,
Yeah.
it is now time for this week's Numero de los Muertos.
That was really deep. I got that from down here.
And as always, Numero de los Muertos brought to us by our friends at Smoke Inn.
Honest Steve here with the goat to tell you about Smoke Inn's Cigar of the Month Club. Every month, I personally handpick 5 premium cigars. Another great feature is our Double Down Club. With a simple check mark, you can get double this great selections every month and save $10. Every month, there's a special discount code where if you like any of the selections, you can get them at a special discounted rate for our Cigar of the Month Club members. We've made it super simple. All you gotta do is log into your account. There's a little green button there. If it's green, you're active. You want to take a break, going out of town, simply hit the button and you'll deactivate your membership. We get the stuff out on the 28th of every month. Our membership bills on the 28th, and we get every member's package out on the 28th if it's a shipping day. All delivered to your door for $34.95. 5 great reasons on what makes Smoking Cigar of the Month Club the best club out there. Check it out. Peace.
All right, Numero de los Muertos, episode 252. And Kyle is adjusting his location. So this week, let me pull this up on my phone here.
What do you got?
This week, Numero de los Muertos is 1 billion.
No, gosh, that number. All right, so this week the number is... I'm not going to give the exact number, but I'll say it's just under 800.
800.
A year, a lifetime since the turn of the century?
In history.
Ooh, only 800.
In all of history, there have been nearly 800 confirmed cases of death from this. So, Kyle, basically, Numero de los Muertos, I give a number, and you, along with Justin and Raul and our loyal viewers, get to basically sort of play 20 questions to break down to the fine details what the cause of death was for this number of people. And this is, sometimes it's per year, sometimes it's per month. This is the number. So just shy of 800 people in all of recorded history have died from this particular cause.
David Floyd says hot air balloon crash.
Very good guess, but it is not hot air balloons.
Skydiving.
Not skydiving.
Is this on land or water?
Ooh.
It could be both. It could be either on land or on water.
Parachute malfunction.
Not parachute malfunction.
Skinny dipping.
Ooh.
Oh, I like that.
We need to find that one.
But yeah, I got to look that up. But that is not the cause. No.
Is it a workplace accident?
Not a workplace accident.
Is alcohol involved?
No, not. I don't think generally. No.
Drugs?
Probably not. I mean, you never know. I mean, could one or more of the parties have alcohol or drugs in their system at the time of death? It's possible, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's a contributing factor. Not parasailing, Dax. Good guess.
Scuba diving.
No, not scuba diving. Ripped apart from a silverback gorilla. David, I love you, brother, but you're dark. Like you go dark. But no, it's not silverback gorilla.
How's that cigar treating you, David?
Yeah.
Are animals involved?
Animals are not involved.
Okay.
So it's on land and water.
Tony, Dax, any clues here?
Could be land or water. Could be either.
Is Tony over there still?
Falling out of a tree.
Not falling out of a tree.
Is falling involved?
Falling is not involved.
Talking back to their wives.
Hey, Matt, how you doing tonight, buddy?
No, Matt, it's good to see you, brother. It's not talking back to your wife.
Jesus?
That number is probably much higher.
Motorboat engine.
Not motorboat engine.
How about motorboating someone other than your wife?
Oh, no. Good guess.
How about-
Good guess.
If it more than 800.
Yeah.
From Bo Camaro says Phoenix group members being snuffed out by their spouse for spending their rent on.
Oh, actually, Bo, I should try to dig into the numbers to see how many people like this. Wouldn't be numero de los muertos necessarily. It would be numero de los divorces from Phoenix members spending their rent on lottos.
You know, now that I'm single, I do have a guest room anytime someone needs it.
Yeah.
Come use it when your wife kicks you out.
Vehicles are involved? No,
We
right?
said no vehicles involved.
Vehicles are not involved. It could be land or water. I'd say the majority are on land.
Okay.
Mm.
So this isn't like a disease. Or
Not a disease, not an illness, not a pandemic or anything like
Collision between vehicles.
that. Nope.
Choking on a gurkha.
Is it?
Did I just say that aloud? My bad.
Ran
is not
over
it.
by a vehicle.
No, vehicles are not involved.
I need a new cigar.
There you go. That's an excellent choice.
Thank you.
The Tricky Traca, Mi Querida Tricky Traca. Oh, yellow cello. Very nice.
Did we lose everybody on our chat here?
No, they're all still here. They're
They ain't
thinking.
been saying
They're
much.
they're deep in
This is a tough question.
they're deep in thought.
They're always tough until we get it. Then we're like, oh shit, we should have known that one.
So is this an accident?
Not accidental. No,
So this is on purpose.
it's on purpose.
Is this one person did something else to another person on purpose?
Typically, yes.
Is it murder?
Not per se. It's killing, but it's not. It's
Killing in the name of?
It's one of those moral areas of moral ambiguity.
Killing in the name of?
Euthanasia?
I won't do
What's
what
that?
you tell me.
Like euthanasia?
Not euthanasia. No. David Floyd testing bulletproof vest. No.
There was only one dude that did that. I got some-
Dax killed by slingshot. No, but I really want to look that up. Actually, I'm very curious about that. Dying on the set of Rust. Oh, David, too soon. Too soon. That was only one, as far as I know. That number, I think, was one.
What was the question again from Chris Coulter?
The question is numero de los muertos. How many people? So the number is nearly 800 people have died from this particular cause in recorded human history that have been confirmed that these people died by this cause, as far as we know. Yes, David, thank you for that. You got to put that that qualifier in there. As far as we know. And I will say, in my research, the potential number is higher, but the confirmed number is just shy of 800 in human history. Wow, look at that.
Yeah, you got distance on that.
Yeah, you gotta back off on that, man. That's
I know. I could get it out here.
yeah. Those paleo lighters, those things will take your face off.
Gunshots.
No, there's a lot more to die of gunshots.
Well, so gunshots are a part of the scenario.
We had 1,000 in Minneapolis last year.
I'm just saying. Gunshots are a part of this particular scenario.
Oh, so they're cleaning their weapons and if misfires and
Nope.
Decapitation.
Backfire.
Not decapitation.
Grand Canyon.
Not Grand Canyon.
is a firearm involved? I take it.
Firearms are involved.
Can we get a firefighter in here?
Easy, bro.
Muskets or
Easy,
muskets
bro.
involved.
It's not muskets. It's not
You're
cannons.
only 10 feet away.
It's not auto asphyxia.
Yeah.
Not death by Gurkha. No.
BB guns.
Firearms are involved. It's not BB guns.
Is it hold my beer, bro?
It's not hold my beer moments. No.
Accident.
Not accident.
Actually,
Well, as in the world of firearms, they would be referred to as negligent discharges, but it's not negligent discharge. It's not shotguns.
Cannons.
Not cannons.
Death by cop.
It's a lot more than 800.
Gun malfunction.
Not death by cop, not gun malfunctions.
We call that blue suicide.
Not suicide by cop. No, these are intentionally inflicted deaths. That's a huge clue for you guys.
Spouse killing spouse. That's gotta be more than 800 all time.
Nope. Not shot by a child. Not Russian roulette. Not skeet shooting. Not bullet shot in the air.
Hunting with Cheney.
These are intentionally hunting with Cheney. Wow. No, these are intentionally inflicted deaths.
Ricochet.
Not ricochets.
Are military snipers sniping somebody?
Yes. Raul. That's what it is. So in all the history of the United States military, there are 774 confirmed kills by United States military snipers. Now, there are unconfirmed kills that take this number somewhere into the range of 850. But the confirmed kills by United States military snipers is 774.
So those rest have been redacted, is what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, because, it's like in war, it's like, can you confirm, X, Y, or Z?
By the way.
But the ones that have actually been confirmed by military historians are 774. By the way,
I think that's 2 weeks in a row. I got it.
Is that 2 weeks in a row?
Yep.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah, so only confirmed. Yeah, I think it's around 850 that the number goes up to for confirmed plus unconfirmed.
Any of you guys old enough to remember when we first got in Afghanistan?
Yeah.
When they were shooting mountain range to mountain range with a 50 cal?
Oh, yeah.
And the enemy was exploding, just poof, vaporizing.
Yeah.
Fuck, our military's badass.
Yeah. There have been, and honestly, so when I did all the research on this, I decided to only stick with the members of the United States military. Because there have been some badass snipers from other military organizations, whether it's Israeli or Russian. Actually, Russian. Canada has some very good snipers. Russia in history has some incredible snipers. Yeah. But I just for the sake of this numero de los muertos, I decided to only stick with United States military personnel.
Chris was the man,
and Chris Kyle was one of the highest. He was the highest when it comes to overall numbers, confirmed and non-confirmed. But there was one, and I'm sorry, I don't remember the name right now, but there was one that was higher when it comes to confirmed kills by a United States military sniper.
There was a Canadian sniper that had the longest one.
Yeah. Over a mile.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it was over a mile.
Kentucky win, did you? Yeah, there it is. I got him.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I sort of, just because of all the horrible nonsense that happened, with the rally in Pennsylvania over the weekend, is just for some reason the term sniper was kind of stuck in my head, and I was like, okay, so I started doing a bunch of research on confirmed kills by military snipers, and there are actually quite a few. Like I said, military personnel from all around the world. Israeli snipers, Russian snipers, Chinese snipers, Canadian snipers, United States snipers, and so many other countries. There are a lot of very talented marksmen out there that have contributed to military conflicts over the years. And sadly. I mean, it's war. It's one of those things that you wish didn't happen, but it's
nice that we have some of the baddest in our military.
Exactly.
It's
exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah. So 774 confirmed from United States military personnel. And it's funny because a couple of them were from way, way back in the day. Like in the Civil War times, they didn't call them snipers. They called them sharpshooters. And these are guys that are shooting with iron sights, and they don't have any confirmed numbers for these guys back then. So I couldn't even factor that into the number. But, some of these, Union Army sharpshooters from the 1860s were extremely talented with just plain old iron sights, and long rifles shooting lead ball ammunition. It's amazing what they could do even back then. So that was this week's Numero de los Muertos. All right, so let's get into the reveal.
Before we do that, Kyle, what are you drinking?
Yeah, what are you drinking along with your fine cigar?
I'm drinking some Smoke Wagon. Let's see.
Oh.
This is the bourbon. This was one of their barrel picks that came out of. This one came directly from the distiller. This is one of their direct from the warehouse. A 6-year bourbon.
So nice. Matt said you can send a 2 ounce of that with a perfect pairing. He'd appreciate it.
Deal.
When are you coming out to Minnesota, bro?
You
were out here like last year, like for 2 minutes.
Yeah, so I have one of my best friends. Him and I have a deal that whenever the Vikings and the Seahawks play each other, we fly in for whoever's hosting. So he's coming to Seattle this year because the Vikings are coming here this year. That's why
Seahawks. What is this?
They're called the Seattle Seahawks.
Never heard of them.
I love it.
Continue, please.
Yeah. So, but I would love to come visit you guys. I would love that.
We'll hit all the shops up.
Anytime you're in the Minnesota area, just hit us up and we'll take you on a tour of Minnesota shops and introduce you to some of the finest degenerates in our state of Minnesota.
And don't just say, "Hey, I'm here today this morning. What are you doing?"
Yeah,
I kind of failed on that one. I had a last minute. What do I do today? I just walked around the Great Mall for like 2 hours.
Oh boy.
Oh,
and you didn't get shot. You didn't get sniped there.
Hopefully, I wasn't a casualty.
Oh my goodness.
No, we'll show you the real Minnesota. Good food, good food, good beverages, good cigars, good people. Yeah, the Mall of America. That's for tourists. We'll show you the inside story on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Welcome back.
All right. So this week's Spirit of Mystery, I will say that when the aroma, when I first smelled the whiskey, I was like, I don't know if I really am going to like this very much, but the flavor on this whiskey is very good. It's, as you can see, I've been drinking it slowly because this is very high proof and I already had way too much to drink tonight, but this is a very high proof whiskey as far as I can tell. I can't really put my palate on like a particular distillery or anything like that. I mean, it does seem like a bourbon, although it seems a little bit higher on the rye content, but not maybe overly high, but it seems like a bourbon. It's high proof. I'm going to say this is north of 100 and maybe north of 120 proof.
Well, you got two things, right? It is north of 120.
Okay.
And it is a bourbon.
All right. I'm not looking at the screen so that everybody don't say words that are going to give it away, but I'll say my guess, just because I'm not ultra familiar with the super high proof stuff that's out there. I'm going to say it's either a Stag or it's a Elijah Craig.
He's getting better at this.
Oh, Elijah Craig barrel proof 133. Wow.
There's some hair on your chest.
Let me see the.
Hold on. Let me get that last drop in there. You might need that.
So what was? Did you read? Is the barrel code on this particular? Oh, batch C923. This was one of the better batches, if I remember.
Nothing's too good for you, brother.
Nice, thank you, man. I
had to pay 10 cigars for that thing.
For this 2-ounce pour, 10 cigars. You're lying.
They were all Gurkhas. Don't worry about it.
No, this is a good pour, but this is one of those pours that you've got to, like I've been doing throughout the show, you got to drink this one slow, because this is, and I already had 4 drinks before the show started, so just don't drink like I do. Tonight, for some reason, it
was Dak's fault.
It was Dax.
Dax
is like, no, Dax takes credit. That's okay. Yeah, this is a good pour for Spirit of Mystery this week. So very nice. All right, let's jump into The lightning round brought to us by our friends at J.C. Newman Cigar Company, America's oldest family-owned premium cigar maker, creators of the popular Brick House, Perla Del Mar, Diamond Crown, and The American. J.C. Newman Cigar Company operates out of their 113-year-old El Reloj Cigar Factory in historic Cigar City, Tampa, Florida. For more information on their cigars or visitor experience, please visit jcnewman.com. All right. Some quick non-cigar related questions for you, Kyle.
I got to say one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tony from Crux, we're thinking about you, brother. I seen you that you're watching. We're praying for you.
We'll
talk
brother.
about that later.
Yeah, absolutely. Love you, brother. All right. So, Kyle, if you were about to get into a fight, what would your soundtrack music be? I love the long sigh.
Regulators.
Yes. What a fantastic answer.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes.
Regulators.
I like that one.
Regulators, mount up.
Mount up.
Yes. Honestly, this is kind of sad, but we've been doing this for a long time. That might be the first time somebody's given that answer. And that is a fantastic answer.
Thank you.
To this question.
Yeah.
So I absolutely love that.
Put that in the top 3.
That is definitely top 3.
Number 1 is Red Rider.
Red Rider is number
Lunatic
1.
Fringe.
Lunatic Fringe. That's a good one too. Yeah.
So, Kyle.
Yes.
What is the most?
You say that with disdain. So,
He's not mad at me. I haven't sent him anything in the last month.
he's still like.
My random picks have been killing me, bro. You're killing me with my random picks.
You guys, you have to come to Minnesota just so you.
Yeah, I need to hand deliver this to him now.
You got to hug it out and just like work through some shit because there's.
You got to work through nothing. They just got to win. That's it. I'll be happy as fuck. So, all right. So, what the hell was my question? Oh, what is the most underrated and overrated fast food out there?
In Seattle?
Anywhere in the country.
Anywhere in the country.
What's super overrated? What's super underrated?
Oh man, you guys give me. See, I don't go to fast food a lot, so I'm trying to think of, overrated. Man, what's overrated? This is the problem when I don't do fast food a lot. Underrated. I here in Seattle. You know what? I'm gonna get some haters probably for this. Overrated is Chick-fil-A.
Okay, we've heard that before.
I think it's fine. We didn't get Chick-fil-A in Seattle until about probably 2 years ago.
And obviously you don't deserve it.
It's fine. I'm okay with it. I think it's good, but it's something I could live without.
I agree with you. I really do like Chick-fil-A, but if all Chick-fil-A disappeared tomorrow, I'd be okay.
Yeah.
I'd be okay. It's good.
You're all three right.
But I don't love it.
I've never had it, but we're getting our first Raising Cane's in the next 3 months or 6 months. The first one is coming to Washington in about like half an hour away from where I live, or an hour away.
I am very curious to hear your thoughts on it because I'm not going to tell you one way or the other. What I will say is I was surprised by my reaction, and I've had Raising Cane's now 3 times. And I'm very curious to hear. So after you try Raising Cane's for the first time, I want you to text me and let me know what you think of it, because I was surprised by my reaction after 3, tastings of Raising Cane's.
I'm with you, Dax. I love Raising Cane's.
I hear everything about it, but yeah, I have nothing to compare it to.
So what's your underrated?
Yeah, what's underrated?
Man, because we don't have it here, anytime I can go to In-N-Out, I want my double animal style.
Okay.
A lot of people have said that's overrated.
Yeah, that's a very common answer for overrated.
And because I don't have it here, like, so I used to have
Right.
a vacation home in Vegas, and when it was like 3 a.m. in Vegas, and you're just need to sober up, you get that April style, and you just
yeah. It's at 3 a.m. after
I mean, it's that or White Castle, right?
Oh, I love White
I can't do White Castle. I get the
I
shit.
love White Castle going down. I don't like it coming out.
Yeah,
White Castle is great in the moment, but that next morning you're like, why? It's like KFC for me. It's like KFC for the first 2 minutes. It's like, oh, this is delicious. And then the next morning you're like, why in the hell did I eat that?
Because you have 4 or 5 drinks.
That's like tonight. What am I going to eat after this podcast is over? After all the drinks I've had?
Let's go to White.
I'm not going to White Castle tonight.
So, Justin,
can I change my answer? Do you guys have Wingstop?
Yeah,
we do have Wingstop.
We only have like a couple of those here, and I love Wingstop fries. And
Wingstop is very good.
Dry rubbed wings. I would go for that.
Yeah. Wingstop is definitely legit.
David Floyd. The more I learn about your wife, the more I love her.
Yeah, and Dax and Tony are nodding in agreement. Wingstop is legit. It's good stuff.
Well, the bearded one. Let's get your question out there.
The bearded one, huh?
The bearded one.
All right, Kyle, you ready?
Hit me.
The zombies are coming. You get 3 people to be on your zombie apocalypse survival squad from the cigar industry. Who do you pick and why?
Who do I pick and why? All right, let me think through this. I'm gonna have to go with Ronnie because everyone's gonna be distracted by the nose and just want to be going after him personally.
Oh, fuck. That's funny.
That's probably the hardest I've ever laughed on this show. That's great. Holy shit. That's great.
Number 2 is gonna be who would I pick? Man, well, he just left the industry, but Jonathan Carney could beat some people up.
Oh, absolutely.
I would want to put that guy on my team. And number 3, I'd probably go with David. His last name is David Blanco from Blanco Cigars. His military experience.
Oh yeah.
I don't know him personally, but I know from his military experience, he's got a few ideas for me to save my life.
Yeah, and he's probably got a lot of guns. I'm pretty sure he's got a lot of guns.
So, Kyle, when you were on your motorcycle ride trip, did you wear gloves?
Can you see that?
Yeah.
You see where my watch was right here? Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I got my tattoos built in.
Yeah, I got the fishing trip tan line on because I was wearing a t-shirt the whole time, but my neck right here, I got so super sunburn on the back of my neck. But
it's called a redneck.
Yeah, I've got the farmer tan like cooking super deep.
Oh yeah. But this was even with sun block on.
Yeah.
100-degree weather's burned right through it.
Well, because I put on sunblock every day, and it was like 30 SPF, but it didn't matter.
30.
It just didn't matter.
You gotta go a little higher, especially when you're in a boat.
Yeah,
on the lake. You gotta go a little higher.
Yeah, it was like 90 degrees every day and super sunny, and I just got cooked like crazy. All right, let's jump into this week's notable smokables, brought to us by Don Doroteo Cigars, a brand with both purpose and passion, dedicated to creating change from within. By developing their own land, they're able to own the entire process throughout the life cycle of the plant. They methodically carry out each step, ensuring that the final product is of the finest quality. The new Salt of the Earth lines, Piedra Viva and Piedra Angular, are available now at Don Doroteo Retail Partners. Visit dondoroteo.com to learn more. All right. So, Kyle, each week we name a cigar that we smoked recently that was notable to us. Now, this could be a cigar that's been on the market for decades that we tried for the first time in a very long time, or a cigar that's brand new to the market that we've tried for the first time ever. So what's something, Kyle, that you have smoked recently that really stood out to you?
The one that came to mind instantly that just came out probably in the last 2 weeks ago, a Stolen Throne released an exclusive through in Hawaii through Our Field and Wines called, I'm probably butchering the name, but called Kiawe, Kiawe. I think that's how it's spelled. And man, that cigar is excellent. It was like in this yellow 10-pack bundle, but that Kiawe was delicious.
It sure was.
Nice. Yeah, that's one of those places. You know, Stolen Throne and Black Label Trading and some other people have done exclusives through that shop in Hawaii. Yeah. And it seems like every time they do that, a company does a limited for them, it's just really a top-notch cigar that they only bring in limited releases that are really, really good cigars. Yeah. And I mean, Kyle, you know, Lee Marsh from Stolen Throne is doing just really good cigars. Yeah. So, yeah.
He will be here next month.
Oh, right on.
You know, the super sad part again. I'm serious. I think I'm gone when he's in town.
He's here August 17th.
I'm pretty sure I'm gone. Yeah.
Ramsey Smoke Shop. If anybody, mark that on your calendar, August 17th.
Yeah.
Say it Omar for me.
I will.
I'll have to check my calendar, but I feels like, because it feels like every time that Lee Marsh is in, and we joke with each other about it. It's like, hey, Lee, are you ever going to come to Minnesota? Because every time he comes to Minnesota, I'm on some family vacation or trip. But I'll have to check my calendar for that to see if I'm actually going to be around. Justin, what was your notable this week?
Let's see. I think I had some time. Was it Saturday night or Sunday? Yeah, Saturday night. I had a Cohiba Rivera, or is it Riviera?
Oh yeah, Riviera.
Nice. Lancero.
Oh,
those are solid.
Good cigar.
That was a good one.
Very good cigar. Raleigh, what's yours?
That Apostate. I don't remember the name of it. I showed you earlier.
That was
the Desiree.
The Desiree.
Apostate Desiree. I haven't had a bad cigar from those guys. They do great job putting out sticks.
Good cigar. I'm gonna put our studio guests on the.
He put it out already.
All right.
Tony's right there.
Tony, what's your notable this week?
It's right there.
Oh, Tony put it.
All right.
Timeless TAA 2012. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, yeah. That's legit. Yeah. Dax.
Here's Dax's.
There we go. Diamond Crown Maximus. Oh, yeah. Oh, the Standard and Twain box. Very nice. Very nice.
I think next month I'm going to open all 6 packages and start smoking those.
There you go.
Just next month. That's all I'm going to smoke.
So for me, Room 101, 14th.
I haven't had one yet.
What? Are you serious?
Shots fired.
Oh,
geez.
we got to help you with that, brother.
Oh my God.
We've got.
I don't think he deserves one if he hasn't had one yet.
Yeah, Tony's smoking one right now. Tony, isn't that one of the best cigars of the last 5 or 6 years? It's an incredible, that Room 101 14th. I mean, look across all cigar companies. That's that's the cigar community we're talking about. Dax is walking over right now.
Look at this.
And just handed one.
Oh, thank you, Dax.
To Justin.
So
yeah.
Kyle, if you put a
allegedly
FB out there with 14, Room 101 14th, I might bin it. I'm just saying.
Okay, good to know.
Room 101 14th. Yeah, that will probably be one of the fastest bid lots you ever have.
I like hearing requests like that. That's good to know.
Yeah, that cigar is incredible. All right, let's talk about coming attractions on upcoming episodes of How About That Cigar? And those are brought to us by our friends at Hoagland Insurance. They are excited to serve and educate any new customers and give existing customers a refresher. Whether it's a business policy, auto insurance, home policy, or life insurance, if you are currently insured or just looking for a quote, Tony Hoagland and his team would love to create a personal price plan just for you. Mention How About That Cigar when you make your first appointment, and Tony will have a free cigar just for you. For more information, please call 763-421-4900 or visit ChamplainInsurance.com.
So now listen, people, anybody in Minnesota, give them a call and tell them we sent you.
That's right.
You'll get a free cigar, which happens to be a Roma Craft Volstead.
That's right. Roma Craft Intemperance Volstead.
Now, this is strictly self-serving.
Yeah.
Because if you guys don't call him, we're going to have him a sponsor next year, and we need him as a sponsor next year. So call his ass, would you?
Yeah, and Tony's like a regular member of the cigar community in Minnesota. He's not just like, somebody looking for a quick buck from, some podcast advertisement. He's an actual active member of the cigar community.
He actually he got me back into cigars 5-6 years ago.
There you go.
Started getting into
there you go. Yeah, he's legit.
Good dude.
So next Monday night, July 22nd. This one we're really excited about.
Not that we weren't really excited about.
Yeah, we're excited about every show. But next Monday night, July 22nd, Dwight Atkins from Fat Ash Cigar Lounge in Asheville, Kentucky. Super cool shop, great people. When you talk about cigar community, we talk about this term cigar community. They have built, Dwight and his team, they have built such a strong cigar community in that Asheville, Kentucky space that they just have, they have such a strong group of regulars that contribute to sort of the vibe and the general sentiment about premium cigars and how that contributes to community in that area.
And half the time when they put an exclusive out, it doesn't make it past their members.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, by the way, I think they changed the name because the name of that city because of him.
They changed it?
Yeah. It was something else. And let's go with Asheville. Let's change it after his store.
We may have to confirm that, but I'm good either way.
That's the truth according to me.
What is that? David Floyd. I so read that as Shania. Like, I'm not.
He was talking about Standard and Twin.
Have you been drinking?
Yeah, David may have had a couple drinks. I cannot confirm or deny. Yeah, exactly. All right. So, Kyle, thank you, first of all, for being on the show, brother. If you would please give our viewers and listeners an idea, where is the best place for them to keep up with everything that you have going on?
Absolutely. Yeah. So with cigar marketing, as you can hear, cigarketing.com is where you can find us online, or you can reach me at kyle@cigarketing.com. Easiest way to stay connected with me. And as you find us on all the socials at Cigarketing, facebook.com /Cigarketing. That's the easiest way to stay connected with me there.
Anywhere else you want to mention or anything else?
And there
when it comes to cigar sales, add Kyle Willis and I'll get you into the Facebook group called Phoenix Rise. It's an invite only group.
That's
there
right.
You go. Invite only. That's the best way to do it in this day and age. That's the absolute truth. All right. Well, brother, thank you so much for being on the show tonight. We had a blast talking to you and learning from you, and can't wait to have you on the show again soon. Cannot wait to hopefully visit with you in person here in Minnesota, or maybe at one of the trade shows or some other fantastic cigar shop one of these days.
Likewise. Thank you. It's been an honor to be here.
Absolutely. Viewers and listeners, guys, thank you so much for being the best part of How About That Cigar Live. We're so grateful for you being with us here on Facebook.
Yes.
YouTube.
Yes.
X.
Yes.
Instagram.
Yes.
And Rumble.
Hell yes.
And of course, our audio podcast listeners, guys, thank you so much for making How About That Cigar a part of your regular audio podcast rotation. Be sure to click on all the big, beautiful buttons, if you would, please. And one final shout out to Cigars and Baseball, September 12th, 2024. Go to cigarsbaseball.com and register today to have a fantastic time at the best cigar event in the Midwest, period. So if you have questions for any of us, you can email us on the website, howaboutthatcigar.com. Follow us on all your favorite social media platforms at HBT Cigar. And of course, until we see you guys next time, burn cigars,
not bridges.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
any comments, opinions, viewpoints, or statements presented or uttered by guests on the HBTC podcast, HBTC live video streams, and all other media from HBT Media LLC are solely those of the individual and do not necessarily represent the opinions or viewpoints of How About That Cigar or its parent company, HBT Media LLC, any of our advertising partners, or the premium cigar industry. The primary purpose of How About That Cigar is to entertain and to encourage activity and growth within the community of people who enjoy or want to learn about the enjoyment of premium